Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining me. Every Tuesday, we'll have a new podcast, and if you like it, please subscribe. I thank you for that. It will help inspire you and help you to encourage you to live a healthy life, because there's so many things in our body that creates wonderful processes that we don't know about. And I try to talk about it in my shows. So thank you for listening. And today we're going to talk about the many ways cultured foods detoxify your body. And it is in very many diverse ways that our body detoxes us from chemicals and pesticides. And I want to talk about that because you might not be aware of it. And if you are, it really helps you live a healthier life. Because what happens is we are, onslaughted with all kinds of toxins that our body detoxifies us from. But what happens when we don't have enough of the things we need to detoxify us, if we don't have the proper minerals, the proper vitamins, the proper bacteria in our gut, our immune system gets bogged down, and our body is not able to process these toxins. And so they build up in our body, which creates disease. And so when you understand how to help your body do that, it makes a world of difference. It keeps you healthy, and you can tell because of the way you feel. You'll have more energy. You'll have, I like to say you have a kick in your step. You have the energy to do the things that you want to do. And honestly, I see this more and more. I watch people. I've done this with myself, but most of the time that people don't do things. They don't, go out and chase their dreams or do the things they want, or even just live a life that's full of energy, is because they don't feel good. And most of the time that they don't feel good is because their body's overloaded with too many toxins, not the right vitamins and minerals that they need. And their body's just burdened down, and it just has gotten to them. And so it's not that they don't have the ambition to do it. They just don't feel good. And I was that way. I used to lay on the couch and watch documentaries of people who had changed their lives, and I would just cry because I wanted to do that, but I didn't feel good. I didn't have the energy to change my life. But when I found these cultured foods and I began to live a healthier lifestyle, I began to incorporate probiotic foods into my diet, I started to feel better. And then that made me want to eat better. And so then I ate better, and then I wanted to exercise, and I wanted to do all these things that I didn't have the energy to do before. And I just never wanted to go back to that life because I feel so much better. I feel like a new person, and you can too, because your body's designed to heal you. Your body's designed to keep you healthy, and the only thing stopping it is you, what you eat, the things you're around, the stresses in your life. And once you understand how to deal with that, it really can change just about everything. So I pretty much love my microbes and all they do for me. And I just, not a week goes by that I don't discover something new that my 100 trillion microbes, and everybody has this, that they're doing for you and for me. And I used to think that my liver was mostly responsible for filtering out all those compounds from within my body, including hundreds of toxic chemicals, extra hormones like estrogen that can damage your cells and, could weaken your immune system. But that's only half of the story. Your bacteria in your gut is responsible for 50% of the detoxification that your body undergoes. And if you don't have the right microbes and you don't have a lot of them in numbers, they can't do their job. So, what do bacteria do to detoxify you? Okay, first of all, let's talk about the chemical BPA, or bisphenol A, which is how it's pronounced. And it's found in plastics, it's found in paper money, in thermal printer receipts that we get, at every store we go to. And BPA is a powerful endocrine disruptor, and it has been linked to 40 different diseases, and it's everywhere. But interestingly enough, animal research has shown that the proper bacteria in your gut can help detoxify this chemical by reducing the intestinal absorption of BPA and speeding it out of your body. And what's really exciting is that many of these strains of bacteria you need are found in cultured foods. So when you eat cultured foods, they become a part of you, and then they contain the bacteria you need to help detoxify you from this powerful endocrine disruptor that is just everywhere in our in our society. So let's talk about pesticides. When you make cultured vegetables, there are specific strains of bacteria that go to work that have been shown to degrade many different pesticides in your vegetables, such as all kinds of diazonine, parathon, chlorophyes. Then they do this while they ferment on your counter, and the pesticides will be degraded by 83.3% in as little as 3 days. And give it a few more days and they will remove all the pesticides completely, which, your cabbage takes about 6 days on your counter to completely ferment, or 6 to 7, and it's all gone by then. The really cool part is that microbes actually use this hard to break down chemical as a source of carbon and phosphorus food for themselves. And it's one of the wonderful things that I love about making cultured vegetables, because you don't have to get organic vegetables because the microbes will degrade those pesticides and chemicals on them. And so if you're on a tight budget, you can use non-organic vegetables and still rest assured that in the fermenting process, a lot of that will be removed, which I think is super cool about cultured vegetables. I think it's always good to use organic if you can, but if you can't, this will be a great alternative for you. Okay, the next one is sodium nitrate and heavy metals. The chemical sodium nitrate is used as a food preservative in cured meats because it contains powerful antimicrobial properties, which prevents food from spoiling. But it's also used in fertilizer, explosives, rocket fuel, and enamels that you make for pottery or glass. So, sadly though, it's even found in organic food, and we can't really seem to hide from it. It's been linked to a variety of chronic degenerative diseases, including cancer. But however, this is the good part. Mr. Lactobacillus, that's one of my favorite bacteria, and his many friends are capable of breaking down this toxic chemical. And it also breaks down heavy metals. And it also does other compounds that are in meat when meat is cooked at high temperatures. And if you'd like the research on this, I'm going to put this in the description below in my article. And if you just go to my website, I have all the references that I talk about in this article. And if they're on YouTube, I put them on there too. But it helps you to see that I'm not making this up, that I actually have the research to back this up. So, and that's at my website at culturedfoodlife.com. You can go to the podcast section and it's on there, or click the link below in the description. Now, another study found that kimchi, which is a cultured vegetable, contains a strain of bacteria capable of breaking down sodium nitrate. And that is an exciting thing that people have really just recently found. And the study found that a depletion of sodium nitrate was over 90%. So as sodium nitrate becomes toxic when it's put in our food products, but the bacteria degrades this chemical in the process of fermentation. So there were 4 lactobacillus strains that were capable of breaking down this toxic byproduct. And they're all in the lactobacillus family, and it's found in it's found in almost all of cultured foods. And it can play a huge role in detoxifying heavy metals from the body that can damage our cells. And all this is happening without us knowing what's happening. So I think it's super cool that the bacteria in our body can take care of that for us. Now, perchlorate is an ingredient in jet fuel and fireworks that widely contaminates the environment and our food. And it's really sad. It's in organics foods, and it's been found to contain high level of toxins, making it exceedingly difficult to avoid exposure. However, Bifidobacterium is capable of degrading this chemical, and that is a very powerful bacteria that you get mostly when you're first born. It's in your mother's milk. It's like 60% of your bacteria that you get that helps you to absorb the nutrients in milk. And it's very, very powerful. It lowers inflammation. It helps the body to handle so many things. I'm actually getting ready to write an article about this because it is such a powerful probiotic that is just naturally found in babies, but it kind of degrades over time if you don't feed it and you don't nurture this particular bacterium. But it does so many wonderful things that I want people to be aware of it. So stay tuned. I'm going to be writing an article about that and doing a podcast. Okay, so there are probiotics found in so many cultured foods. And even in sourdough bread, that possesses the ability to reduce the toxicity of food because it's loaded with lactobacillus. That's what breaks down the bread and turns it into that wonderful tasting bread that has that sour taste to it. And that's through the process of lactobacillus, which I love. It also helps me to digest my bread easier because the bread has been broken down. It's basically pre-digested. But it's that way with all cultured foods, whether it's cultured vegetables or kefir, kombucha, all of it is basically pre-digested foods. So the body just literally digests these foods with such ease because they've been broken down by the microbes that allows our body to have less stress on our digestive system, load us with probiotics, and help us detoxify our body by, not just with your liver, but with your digestive tract, which is 50% of your detoxification process. So it's pretty powerful. I've seen these articles a lot throughout the last probably, 10 years. And they started to use microbes to degrade and remove the oil spills in the ocean. And they did it so fast and so effectively. And I was fascinated by watching how quickly they would add these microbes to oil spills and they would gobble up the oil and it would just be clean in days when they thought it was going to take forever to get these oil spills out of the ocean. But the microbes were able to do it quickly and effectively and efficiently. And, they'll do the same inside of you and me, but you have to take care of them and you have to feed these microbes and watch them grow in strength so they can have the numbers of bacteria to do their job. So what happens is if you don't feed your microbiome, which your microbiome loves fiber, it loves fruits and vegetables, it loves specific things like leeks and asparagus and onions, and there's a thing called inulin, which is in chicory root, and it just makes sure good bacteria grow and multiply so that the pathogens that are in your body go away, the toxins in your body are able to be removed from the body. And we've really just scratched the surface of all they can do. But I really encourage you to start to understand how to feed your microbiome, because when you do, everything gets better. For instance, the more fruits and vegetables you eat, which are loaded with prebiotics, which feed your microbes and make them grow, the better you're going to do. You're going to lower inflammation in your body. You're going to reduce toxicity. You're going to remove harmful pathogens, and your body's going to be able to heal itself. And when, this is going on all the time without you knowing that your body's doing this. It's, you don't know when you have these chemicals in your foods or diet or in the air around you. You don't know that you're doing that. There's no alert system, but your bacteria does, and it can degrade it, and it can help you to detoxify you from it. And when that gets out of whack, when your body gets overburdened, then you've got a problem. Then disease can set in, and then it can wreak havoc on your life. And you will be surprised at the amount of energy you will have when you change your diet, when you start to eat these cultured foods and make them a part of your daily life. And you don't need a lot of them. You just need a few of them on a pretty regular basis. You don't have to have them every day. I do, but you can have them every other day, because some of them have transient bacteria in them that don't last very long in the body, only like 3 to 5 days. So it's a wonderful thing to know that you can work with your body and help you to live a healthier and happier life. So I want to encourage you to make some cultured vegetables and keep them on hand. They will last 9 months in your fridge, and they will taste better over time with age, and it will help you degrade you from many chemicals and toxins, and also give your immune system a boost. And I also hope that you'll add kefir to your diet. It is my morning daily drink that I have done for, 18 years now? There's just very few times that I go without it. Occasionally I won't have it, usually if we're out and about, but I usually have it almost every day. It is my favorite cultured food because it's loaded with over 50 plus probiotics, but it has made a huge, huge difference in my life. I wouldn't be here talking to you today if I hadn't started drinking kefir, because I wouldn't have had the energy, or the inspiration to create a business at the age of 50 and, do this for 18 years. And I just absolutely love it because I'm so grateful for how much it has changed my life. It has helped me through so many stages of my life, whether it was, childbirth or menopause or, stress or emotional stress that, the life can give you. Kefir it's a constant for me and has helped me through many, many periods and facets of my life. And it is my go-to food. It works powerfully well in my life. It's helped me with diabetes. It helped me with my high blood pressure, which I had many, many years ago, and it's kept me healthy ever since. And I can't say enough about it. And so I hope you'll learn to consume and make this wonderful drink. You can make it many different types of ways. You can do non-dairy, you can do regular, but whatever you do, I hope you'll make it a part of your life and make it a habit. And once you feel better, you'll notice when you don't have it that you don't feel as well. I actually think that it wasn't until I felt better that I knew how bad I felt, because I didn't know how bad I felt because I didn't know what it was like to feel good. And when I realized that, there was no turning back for me because I never wanted to feel like that again. And kefir has been the food that has made the biggest impact on me. So if you want to learn how to make that, or if you want to go buy some, it's always better to make homemade. And it's so easy, guys. You just stick a culture in a jar in either milk or non-dairy milk and let it sit for 24 hours. And the next day you have kefir. You don't have to heat it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. It's super easy. And you'll have kefir in 24 hours. And you can head over to my blog, culturedfoodlife.com, click the little it says start here button. It's a little smiley pot, and it'll have a drop down that says how to make kefir. And it's super fun to make and super good for you. Now, if you're going to consume bread, please make it sourdough. It has, so many beneficial compounds in it that can change your life in a powerful way, because the bread is broken down by the microbes and then it's enhanced. So many people who struggle with gluten don't struggle with sourdough bread. And then there's also einkorn sourdough bread, which I'm getting ready to sell a starter for that very soon here because I love it so much. It's an ancient grain. It's the most ancient grain. And so many people are finding that if they have gluten allergies, it's missing the genome that causes the allergies that's in that bread, because it's the oldest grain there is. It hasn't been modified, in the modification of these grains throughout the years, it's one of the reasons we've gotten allergic responses to them, because they've been changed and modified, whereas einkorn never has. And it is a delicious bread, easy to make. It's just like regular sourdough. You're just using a different type of flour. And you only need 3 ingredients, salt, water, and flour to make some of this delicious bread with the help of microbes that is fun, rewarding to make, and absolutely delicious and beautiful. I never cease to be excited when I take it out of the oven. I make probably 1 or 2 loaves a week, and I have for many, many years, and I never, ever tire of taking that out and seeing what my bread has done, what the microbes have done to rise my bread and make a beautiful loaf. And it's very individual for everybody. I mean, each loaf is a little bit different than the one before, so it's kind of fun and exciting, and I absolutely love it. Now, the other thing I recommend is kombucha. I love it. It is got powerful, good yeast in it and good bacteria that help degrade you and greatly assist your liver in detoxification. And it's one of the things that I noticed right away when I started drinking kombucha, that I was detoxing very powerfully. And it's also great for things like when you have too much hormones, when you're going through menopause, and you have more circulating hormones that you necessarily should be. Kombucha is great for that. And that was one of the things that assisted me and just helped me sail through it. And I highly recommend it. It's one of the most helpful things for your liver there is. So that's a terrific fermented tea if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I teach you how to make it on my site. It's super easy. You can buy it. There's a lot of good brands. And then there's some brands that a lot of them are pasteurizing it now so it doesn't explode on store shelves. And the one I know that isn't doing that is GT Synergy Kombucha. He's kept it pure. He doesn't flash pasteurize it a little bit so it won't overfill. He's got a way to really keep it more stable, but he's done a really good job, and that's a great one to try if you want to give it a try. And that's at your local health food store. It's at many grocery stores now. It's just about everywhere. And I like all of his flavors, and he's done a really good job keeping kombucha the way it's supposed to be. So guys, let's just fix our guts with lots of healthy microbes and let them take care of us instead of worrying about everything and trying to pronounce the crazy names of all these chemicals. Eating a lot of probiotic and prebiotic foods are going to change us from the inside out. And I love these three foods, kefir, kombucha, and cultured vegetables, which is what I call the trilogy. I started with kefir, but you can pick the one that most interests you. And you will see what a difference it can make in your life by just including a few of these foods that are meant to help us. They're loaded with probiotics. They've been given us, they've been given to us to help us because they've been around forever. I have so many people commenting on things about how you aren't telling us how to make kefir grains. Well, I can't tell you how to make kefir grains because scientists have tried to reproduce these kefir grains and they can't, which I kind of love. They've just been around for thousands of years and you just have to get them from somebody, whether it's from me or from somebody sharing them. They're not something you can manufacture, which is a very cool thing, I think, because they've been around for a long time and they continue to do so. And I hope that I can help keep them around for much longer because they have helped me so much. So let's just fix our guts with lots of healthy microbes and, let them take care of us instead of, trying to figure out how to do this ourselves by taking tons of supplements. Let's let the probiotics take care of us as they're meant to do. That's why, something loved you enough to put 100 trillion bacteria in you and all around you. And I think it's time we start paying attention to that because it's here for a reason. And just like it helps clean up the spills of oil in the ocean, it can help clean up our bodies in an efficient and wonderful way. And consuming these foods can help a lot. So head on over to my website if you're interested on learning more or reading this transcript. I hope it helps you. I hope it will encourage you to not be so scared about everything in our foods, to know that we have a backup system that's already been created for us that is designed to heal us. So have a wonderful week, guys. And as always, thank you for listening. Please subscribe if you enjoy this podcast, and we will see you next Tuesday.